Rajiv Bajaj, thank you very much for joining us on the program today. Let me begin by asking you about the timeline for permissions and approvals from the European Commission. What are you expecting?
Thank you, Parikshit. So exactly in line with what you said, as you know, our investment went in on 23rd of May, and a series of approvals was required after that. As we stand, all the approvals that are to come on account of mergers and acquisitions are already in. Those that were to come in terms of foreign investment approvals, I believe, are also through. We are waiting now for the key approval of the Takeover Commission. We understand that this may be forthcoming in November. We hope it will be positive, and which means that in that case, after a almost 18-year association, in which Bajaj has been a minority partner, we would become a 76% shareholder in KTM AG, and well, in PMAG actually, and from being an observer, we would take charge.
What, in your view, led to such a sudden and sharp downfall for the KTM brand? This was a pillar of Bajaj Auto's premiumization strategy. What, according to you, led to such severe financial constraints?
Well, you know, Parikshit, yeah, we were all taken by surprise, I must say. I think most of the industry was quite shocked at how rapidly, this thing developed. And my mind goes back almost 30 years to what my first management guru, Dr. John Wallace, told me, which was simply this, that the single biggest reason for corporate demise is corporate greed. You know, and I have really witnessed this play out at KTM, unfortunately, over the last 12 months in particular. I would say broadly three types of greed. First, operational greed, best exemplified by what happened in the last couple of years when KTM Austria kept producing and overproducing, even though the spike of demand that had come about post-COVID had calmed down. And as we all know, with the result that KTM distributors and dealers worldwide were carrying over a year's worth of inventory, which was just preposterous, frankly speaking. And then there was the, I would call it as a strategic greed. Companies often get into businesses that they have no business getting into. In the case of KTM Austria, the best example of that hurt them the most was getting into the bicycle business, specifically the electric bicycle business. When you have no synergy in any of your major operational areas, such as R&D or supply chain, or marketing, sales, and distribution, with such a business that may appear to be adjacent, but actually has no synergy with your core business, then really, it is irresponsible to venture into that space. This was the, second greed, the strategic greed of getting into a new area that was actually not synergistic. And the two factors combined to take KTM to insolvency in a period of months. Now I know you might say that, but Bajaj was part of it, right. And I would concede that yes, we were also part of what went wrong. But I would only submit that as a minority partner, we could not prevent this, and I can share with you today that we did our best to resist it, so much so that I think it led eventually to the third kind of greed, which, if I may call it, almost a governance greed, where certain decisions like this were either taken, without our knowledge, without our information, and sometimes without even following due process. So we are quite shocked at what has been revealed to us over the last 12 months. That we have got involved in this process. I must clarify, we are not yet in charge. We don't have takeover permission yet, but as an observer, this is what we have come to understand. And if I might summarize it, leaning on the words of my other management guru, Jack Trout, he would say, the stock market can become the temple of greed. And I think this is what happened here. in the pursuit of valuations, some of these options were pursued that should not have been pursued. And when you link, the stock market price to company performance and company performance to the remuneration of top management, this is how things can go horribly wrong.
And you had warned them about this, would you say?
Well, this is something that has happened over years. So from time to time, whenever we were aware of some of these issues, if I were to enumerate all the minor and major issues, we would be speaking for the next hour or two. We took it up. But, as a minority partner, there was only so much that we could do.
Okay. Now, when we speak about restructuring and management restructuring, are we going to see some changes, some major changes in KTM going forward? Would you begin with management restructuring?
Oh, yes, absolutely. This is a problem that is not caused by 98% or 99% of the KTM employees. This is a problem of the top management of KTM, the erstwhile top management of KTM. And that's why, quite frankly, most of them are gone. What we have now in place is a new team, a wonderful new team that I personally feel very confident about. The entire team is already in place, barring just one vacancy that will be filled in the coming months. And it's a very nice combination, I think, of some of the, if I may call them, our older colleagues who are still, very passionate about KTM, very committed to KTM, in areas like the product planning, in the R&D, in the legal department, etc. And then we have some wonderful, outstanding new colleagues led by our CFO, new CHRO, etc. So we have a great team in place, and I must make mention of the manner in which the Bajaj bench out of India. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, just to ask you for an update on KTM sales in India, the GST impact on the KTM offtake, what are the exports that you're seeing from India right now, and what will be the US tariff impact according to you?
The short story would be that KTM India sales are growing very well. The domestic sale is up like 70% year on year. It is a combination of, I would say, half the credit goes to the excellent GST reduction move of the government, very well timed. And the other half goes to the introduction of the new products, particularly the new Duke 160, which is really flying off the shelves. So domestic sales of what we make in India is really at an all-time high. I think this month we will finish at the highest ever in our 18-year association. Exports also, I'm happy to say, have normalized. And you asked about the US in particular. And I'm happy to say that we believe US sales will continue uninterrupted in volume terms of the products that we supply out of India. Yes, we are hit by a 50% tariff, but that's the power of the Indian supply chain. Believe it or not, Parikshit, we have absorbed most of that 50% tariff. Some has been passed on to the consumer, a small percentage of that. And despite that, we will be exporting at an EBITDA that is higher than our blended corporate EBITDA. So that's the power of, the cost competitiveness of the Indian supply chain.
Last time we spoke, you had said that the European manufacturing is dead. Any further developments in terms of re-engineering the KTM supply chain, optimizing costs?
With that one interview, Parikshit, I am told you made me famous in all of Europe. I had so many people from the KTM ecosystem telling me that, in that interview, my counterpart, Nick Bloor from Triumph, said he's never received as many forwards of an interview link as he has of that one. And I find it very amusing because it was the erstwhile KTM management that has been presenting to us over the last 10 years, about how European manufacturing is dead, how KTM needs to move more and more production to India. And eventually we did move half the volume to India. They said, European work culture is dead. wages are too high and working hours are too few. They showed us graphs comparing Europe, China, and India to that effect. Similarly, they said European politics is dead. Energy costs are so high, and as a result, all associated inflation is so high. They brought it to our notice that Triumph is now made entirely out of India and Thailand. Ducati now has a second plant in Thailand. BMW is moving to Thailand. So this is what I learned from the previous KTM management, and now when I echo the same sentiment, I was frankly taken a little aback at the kind of feelings it seemed to generate on the other side. But yes, I think restructuring the supply chain, moving more things to lower cost supplies in Europe, outside of Europe, is certainly the way forward.
Right. Mr. Bajaj, also, what is the reduction we're going to see in headcount and also overheads at KTM? Have you set some targets for the company?
Actually, you touched upon what is really low-hanging fruit out there. Again, from the outside, so far, what we observe is that there is an opportunity to reduce the overheads by more than 50%, and the overheads are enormous. And that covers R&D, that covers all marketing areas, including racing. That covers, obviously, all the operational areas, some of which we just touched upon. And of course, if I may call it, the general administration, including IT. So over a 50% reduction, which is a lot of money. In terms of headcount, the erstwhile and the kind of current management that's been there in place since last November has already brought it down from 6,000 to 4,000. People, which in their own estimate is still too much. But what I find in a way amusing again is that in this 4,000, only about 1,000 people are blue collar. 3,000 people are actually white collar. And that's really perplexing because it's actually the blue collar that make the motorcycles. And in that sense, if some more of the volume is moved out from Mattighofen to wherever it makes more sense, whether India or otherwise, the impact actually on the blue collar is going to be relatively benign. The issue is going to be with the white collar headcount, which is very, very expensive, as you know, and it brings back to me Mark Zuckerberg's words when he said, the problem is that we have managers managing managers, managing managers, managing managers, managing managers who manage the people who do the work. So I'm amazed at the kind of overhead, the management overhead of bureaucracy that we found in this otherwise excellent organization.
Right. What is the way forward for brand KTM now? Could you give us a sense of the global sales in 2025 and your outlook for 26?
Well, I would say exactly what I said to you a few months back, Parikshit, that there's two fundamental jobs to be done. One is to reduce cost. And as a result of these things we spoke about, between the supply chain, the overheads, and the headcount, we are seeing the potential to perhaps take, 300 million or more out of the system. And the second big job we have to do is to restore the brand. And restoration of the brand must come with restoring the confidence of all stakeholders, most importantly our customers worldwide, but also our dealers, our suppliers, and of course our bankers and shareholders at large, all of whom have taken a 70% haircut for no fault of theirs. So we have to make good for that in the coming time with our performance. And what this means is basically going forward, we need a very clear alignment of all stakeholders to what we have to do in terms of technology, brand, product, production, marketing, sales, distribution. To paraphrase Tarantino, we will only make a great KTM when we are all making the same KTM. So we have to get on with our two fundamental jobs now: great product and great customer experience.
My final question to you, any strategic partnerships likely for KTM? We believe there were some reports about BMW being interested as well.
Well, I can candidly share with you, yes, there were some discussions with BMW and with some others. Basically, everybody's backed off for now, I think, given all the uncertainty that's come in after Mr. Trump has come in. We remain open, of course, to a meaningful partnership. For the moment, I would only say this, that we have a great team in place. All the problems and solutions are quite clear to us. Hopefully, we will have a takeover commission approval next month. I think with that, Bajaj will be ready to race.